Well, you all are in for a treat. I didn't write nothing down. I'm going to come up here and speak from the heart, so I hope you got no plans later on, you know what I mean? Like everybody else, I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with the young men that I get a chance to work with through the football program and the students that I get a chance to work with here through the school. It's a great thing to wake up every morning and know who you are and where you're going and what you're doing. Now, I don't want to say I know what I'm doing, but I know why I'm doing it, and it's a tremendous blessing. And your sons and your families and this program are certainly a part of that, and I'll be forever grateful. I had the opportunity to talk about 3 young men, 2 of which were in my mentor group, and the other I stole from somebody else. We'll get to that in a second. We'll start with Evan Schreiber. Evan Schreiber came out as a junior to play football. Again, I think it was one of those things where he kind of noticed some of his friends who were part of the program were just seemed to be living a little deeper and seemed to be a little bit more invested, seemed to be a little bit tighter than some of the other relationships that maybe were going on around school, and he wanted a part of that, and he jumped right in, and what a great dude. High school football is difficult, and when you jump in midstream, it's even more difficult. And when you're an offensive lineman, no disrespect to anybody else, it's pretty near impossible. Offensive line, again, it's the only position in all the sports where your primary job is to protect other people. We don't score. We're not even allowed to touch the ball in most cases, right? All we do is make sure that the guy who touches the ball, or do the best we can to make sure that he can do what we need to do, move the ball down the field, get first downs, get touchdowns, win football games. So it's difficult, right? Because the first thing you got to figure out is, how do I survive this myself, right? Let alone, how am I going to keep this little skinny guy behind me whose name gets in the paper all the time? Like, how am I going to keep him on his feet? So it's difficult when you jump in midstream. And so it didn't stop him from coming out and working really hard. It didn't stop him from coming out and being a part of the team. And from the get-go, he was a great teammate in the weight room, doing everything that everybody else was doing. Getting out in the field, getting involved in the reps, and trying to figure out where his feet go and where his hands go, and option plays versus gap scheme, and like all of these things that if you never played football, they make no sense, right? And so to sort of be thrust into that and have to figure all those things out at the same time, some ugly guy like me is chasing you around and telling you to do it faster and harder and more often. It can be a little intimidating, and he never backed down. He never backed down. He contributed to the scout team both his junior and senior years. And I had a tremendous opportunity with him and Aaron that they would work with me on days where it was a defensive emphasis. Those 2 guys came and helped Coach Melterbrink and I coach the younger guys, and what a tremendous benefit that was. Right? To have not only 2 dudes who knew what they were doing get down and be able to explain some things, but also kind of be that older presence as these younger guys were trying to figure out, where do I put my hand, where do I put my feet, what am I doing, what am I doing? Right? So I'll be forever indebted to you, Evan, for the help that you gave me in helping these guys get better. And I want to leave you and everybody else in here with 2 things that Coach and Evan has reminded me. Number 1, ain't none of you in here, not a one, is going to get a job based on how good your bucket step is. Not one. Your pass protection abilities is not going to come up on the job interview. Right? These things are things that we need to be successful football players, and we leave them on the field. Okay? But the things you learn about yourself and the things you learn about the people around you as you are developing that bucket step and that hand placement and that working with that guy next to you, those things will carry you far into life. I believe that wholeheartedly. And the other thing that I want to mention is this. 20 years from now, when you guys are sitting around Salem Gardens having a lemonade and eating some chicken wings, Nobody's going to remember how many snaps you played. Nobody's going to remember who did. I mean, you'll remember certain things about it, things that stood out. And I know this from personal experience. I played back with, leather helmets, and, well, I actually played with a book up inside my helmet. That's a whole other story. I think that's why I became an English teacher. I played my junior season with a copy of The Great Gatsby tucked up in my helmet so that it would fit right. It's a Dateline NBC episode now, but, that's kind of where it was. You're not going to remember the things. You're going to remember the people and how those people made you feel. And I guarantee you this, tomorrow and the next day and for the rest of your life, people are going to recognize you, Evan Shriver, as a great teammate. You gave everything you had every day that you were out there. And you were never for 1 second in it for yourself. You were always about the guy next to you and making him better. And I truly appreciate that, and I love you, and I'm so glad that you decided to come out and play football with us. Evan Shriver. Next guy I get to talk about is Riley Hoff. Riley's actually kind of a second generation player for me. I got a chance to coach his uncle at another school where I coached quite a few years ago. And so that was kind of an interesting experience to, he came in knowing a little bit more about me than I did about him, which was kind of scary. His sophomore year, I remember the first scrimmage, we went and played against Indian Hill in a scrimmage. And we were down a few guys, and Riley being a sophomore, and kind of a bigger kid, we're like, all right, this will be a chance to find out what this kid's got, We're going to see. Riley's out there, and he gets in, and didn't go well, did it? Riley came out, and his eyes were like this big, and his jaw dropped off to the side, and he was kind of staggering. He was actually looking out the side of the helmet like an ear hole. And I turned to Coach Meltenbreg, I said, oh Lord, we broke him. Because I've seen it happen before where, you get a kid in there who's physically maybe ready, but not so much mentally, emotionally, and it puts the zap on them, and you never get them back. There's always that part of them that, I guess it's like PTSD or something, man, because there's always that fear. Never with Riley. Never with Riley. He was back on Monday, big smile on his face, ready to get back to work to get better. He made sure that was the last time that he was going to get pushed around on the football field. His commitment to the weight room, one of the other coaches mentioned about Coach Shaper's gym rats sticking around after the workout to get other work in, and Riley was one of the main guys to be a part of that, and again, encouraging other guys to do that, to do extra, to do more. And again, what that does is it keeps you together a little bit more, builds those bonds, and makes it a little easier to take a play off, because I know what the guy next to me has been through to get to this position. Okay? And so he made himself a part of that. He's a 2-year starter on the offensive line, 2-year starter on the defensive line. I love to be able to sit here and bounce out a bunch of stats to you and things like that, but all we take credit for is, again, first downs, touchdowns, and wins, and that's all a matter of public record. But Riley's one of those guys, and this is something that always struck my heart, is Riley would have, like all of us, there would be things that were going on in his personal life that maybe weren't good. He was dealing with the death of a family friend. He was dealing with a pet at home who was not doing well. And he's like me. He would cry, because he was emotional, and we'd hug each other. And he always found a way, he didn't play through it, he played for it, right? He found a way to turn those things that were going difficult in his life and the things that were hurting him, and he found a way to build some energy out of that. He found a way to grab hold of the guy next to him a little bit harder. And that's such a great thing to have. To be able to look at all the, for lack of a better word, crap that we have to deal with, and to be able to turn that into energy to make it better, right? To turn that into the chicken salad, if you get the reference that I'm making here. And he did that all the time, right? Whether it was an injury himself or, again, something he was experiencing in his life, he found a way to play for it. Not forget about it, but just, he always found the energy. And I think it was just being able to look around at the guys next to him and saying, hey, this guy's going through some stuff too. You know, maybe if I play real hard, put a smile on his face, he'll forget about something for a second. I don't know what his mindset is. Please don't ask me to try to think about what Riley's thinking. But I do know this. There has never been a more positive, energetic player come through these doors than Riley. He was just a lot of fun to coach every day, and he came out every day, and I think he really wanted to get better, and he really wanted to make other people better. And if you continue to find a way to turn the puddles into pools, if you will, not only are you going to be able to channel that into a nice life yourself, but you're going to be surrounded by people who love you and care about you because you provide that same kind of energy to their life. And don't get me started about what a great student the kid is. I had him in class last year, and he's awesome, and I love everything about him, and I wish him nothing but success in the future. Riley Hoff. And the last guy I get to talk about is Big Baby. Big Baby is Austin Ramey. And I called him Big Baby from the very first day that I saw him because to me that's what he was. Like the first day I saw him in the weight room, nobody showed up to this school with more like pub than Austin Ramey. Like, dude, about this kid who's coming. He's like 6'9" and he weighs 400 pounds and he hasn't played since the second grade because what he did. You know, I knew his dad from high school, and I was like, you know, I'm sure the kid's a good athlete, but could he really be? And he was all that, you know. From the very first day, he came in and dedicated himself to being the best player he could be. Because he came here, he had already experienced what a lot of us have to wait until now to realize, and that's that football can be taken away from him. Like, he had it taken away from him as a younger man because he was just too big to play, right? And so he had to practice without being able to go out and enjoy the games, and he became a great practice player, and he became a great teammate. So when he got here, man, all I had to do was just keep it on the road, you know what I mean? He was in a lot of ways already well on his way to becoming a great football player. It was mentioned before that he was first team All-State. Let me put that in perspective for you. I've nominated myself as sort of quasi-team historian here. Counting the guys who are graduating now, we've had over 1,000, right around 1,070 young men who played football for McNick High School during their senior year. Out of that 1,070, there have been 35 people who have been named to the All-State team on one level. First team, second team, honorable mention, special mention. I don't know if they go beyond that. 35 out of over 1,000. Eight, less than 1% were first teamers. Okay? Out of those 8, Austin's the second offensive lineman. The last one was Gordy Massa in 1984. Mike, pretty decent ball player, wasn't he? Like, when you talk about the greatest offensive lineman in this school's history, the conversation starts right here. 4-year starter on the offensive line. Doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. For all the things that I was talking about before with Shrive. Like, this kid showed up, not only with the ability to go out there and do the things he needed to do, but protect the little skinny guys behind him too. From day one. And the kind of teammate, and the kind of student, and the humility, and the brotherhood that he exudes when he is out there. If we are truly built on brotherhood, then And this man is not big baby anymore. He's big brother. Because in my humble opinion, it's where it all started. He's the one that galvanized us. He's the one that brought us all together. And he's the one that gave us hope. Because we were all looking at him when he was a freshman like, ooh, look at that guy. We're going to jump on his back. We're going places. Back to the playoffs. Back to a winning record. And yeah, he faced some ups and downs. And I told him this now twice. He wasn't put on this earth to be a football player. Despite what he looks like, he was not put on this earth to be a football player. I don't know what that is. That's God's plan, and God will reveal it to him as the time comes. But what he has been through and how he has dealt with it is going to help him in whatever that plan is. I truly believe that. So I say this from the bottom of my heart. I've never enjoyed coaching a player more. And I don't think, I love my guys. I love my guys. And I'm not saying I don't love you any more or any less than anybody else. But what you bring to practice and what you brought to our program cannot and will not be replaced. It's going to take all of us together to keep this thing rolling. And I'm so proud to have had the opportunity to work with you. I love you. I look forward to helping you however I can in the future. And good luck to you, brother.
As you go through these things, you got to learn to adjust and adapt. We have two players remaining, I believe, right? Logan Sanders and Will Tobin. All right. These were designated for Coach Brandon Ray. Just a little backstory here. Coach Ray lost his father-in-law last week, and he was traveling, I believe, down in Kentucky, and thought he was going to be back, and he's not back. And the whole confusion and everything, he did not send me any notes on these guys. So, my apologies if this comes off sort of unfiltered and not cleaned up, but I'm not leaving you guys out for sure. So I'm going to speak from the heart here. Let it rip. All right. So we'll start with Logan first. Where's that cool cat here? Logan here? We're going to talk about Logan anyway, even if he's not here. All right. Tony, right? You call him Tony? That's Dad's name? I think it's the Dad's name, right? All right. I'm sure there's a backstory there. But Logan joined the team a few years back, and I think he fit right in. And to be quite honest and quite frank, he's the type of player that why this program is successful or will be successful, right? He's unselfish. He played a ton of scout team. I think that he knew going in that, like, hey, I'm probably not going to be like a starting guy. I think if you had him in an honest moment, he would reveal that. And there's no shame in that, right? We try to tell these guys that there's more to it than just the 22 that are out there on the field at a time, right? Like I said, it took every snap, and just about every snap felt like it on scout team. A tremendous contributor to the special teams as well. I'm a big special teams guy. I think it's important. I try to get, especially the younger guys, to get involved in that. And old Tony jumped right in, and he was extremely valuable to the team. I hope that his experience was for him was as good as it was for us having him on the team. So Logan Sanders. Old Steady Eddie. Look at that, Steady Eddie. There he is. All right. So Will is it's documented that he's a pretty quiet dude, right? And it's true, right? He keeps, he doesn't say too much. And I appreciate that because, outside of being up here and doing this stuff, I don't necessarily like to talk about people either. So I feel you, and I'm good with that. But Will. He has a drive about him. He worked and works extremely hard. You know, I see some of myself in him because I was like him. I think that you know, we got to work for it, right? And he wasn't afraid of doing that. Don't mistake that quiet demeanor for being, you know, having a lack of toughness or anything like that, because he is as tough as they come. He gets that from his mom. And the other thing that stands out that probably him and I don't share is he's extremely smart. Like he's an intelligent dude, right? He was always in the right spot, right? He was able to be successful because he was always in the right spot. And the last thing that kind of comes to mind when I think of it, he doesn't care about the credit necessarily. Like I think, I could be wrong, but I think that he could really care less about any like awards or any of that stuff. He just wants to go play and be with the dudes and have fun. And, I can really appreciate that. So, Will and Logan, I know that it's probably too short. There's more that needs to be said and should be said. My apologies on behalf of Coach Ray and not being here, and you know, apologies from me not being able to put the words into play. But I love both you guys. I appreciate both you guys. Will, when you open up that restaurant now, all right, don't forget about me now. All right, don't forget about me. Just get me in. All right, just get me in the door. All right, Will Toby. Next up, we're going to head on to the superlative awards. And coaches, if I can have you guys maybe grab and relay, if your name is called to come up for these the most outstanding awards or whatever, you please come on up and grab that award, and we'll get these handed out to you guys. So we are not not real big on individualized awards. We think this is the greatest team sports in the world, but we do like to recognize a handful of kids each year for their play inside of our system here. We will recognize the most outstanding offense, defense, Rocket Award. That doesn't matter, get better, and one other award this year. Okay, we'll start with the offense. So again, if your name's called, come on up and we'll get this going. All right. So the most outstanding offensive player this year is Clay Badalak. Second everything that Coach Dowman mentioned about Clay. It felt like he was on a mission this year. The amount of work that he put in that nobody saw or probably even knew he was doing was pretty staggering. And not only just like football work. Like I remember I'm always up here for like random things or whatever it seems like. And I was rolling around on the gator one day and someone was getting some cuts in the batting cage, and it was Clay back there all by himself just hitting off the tee and getting some work in. He's even Steven, right? He's that guy that's never too high, never too low. I really would love to have, like, you know, I know we have advancements in technology, and the technology is there, but I would love to have a heart rate monitor on him and see if he was truly that steady. Like it was just, I mean, as flat as, like, it was unbelievable. I wish I could see that. I don't know if his heart was moving or not, but he didn't show it. Obviously, I wish things were different for him, but I know the adversity that he had to endure, like all our guys, will make him a better man. So congratulations to Clay. Most outstanding defensive player of the year. All right, our defense was, I was talking with Coach Jed about this, and I don't think it's a stretch, and I think it's probably accurate to say this is the best defense we've had since I've been here. They played really well pretty much all season. There were some moments, right? They played as a complete unit, right? It's all tied together, right? The front, and the linebackers, and in the back half, it's all tied together. And I think we run a system that is It's not just go out there and just chase the ball around, right? There's some rhyme and reason for what we do, and each position group was relying on other ones to do their jobs, and you can just tell there was a lot of trust among the groups. So we spread it out a little bit. We have two outstanding players this year. Those players are Jack Camp and Ethan Upchurch. Both Jack and Ethan were critical to the operation. Both played at a high level on a consistent basis all year long. Both brought a toughness to the unit, and the rest of the team fed off that energy. Two different positions, obviously, but equally important to what we were trying to accomplish. Really, really proud of both these guys, Jack and Ethan. Doesn't matter, get better. It's something that we say a lot. And it's basically saying that, you know, regardless of where you're at, right, you still have an obligation to continue through, regardless of the constraints or the things that are going on around you. You have to move forward, right? Try to grow towards your best version, both for you and for this program. We're trying to grow towards full stature in Christ, and you know we have to do that regardless of what's going on. So we have a lot of guys that give great effort on a daily basis. We have a lot of guys that work really hard. We think we have some guys that separate themselves because of their mindset and attitude. And this year, we'll give it to Lucas Beckman and Matt Shoes. During my talk with Coach Romulo, you heard me reference their work in the weight room, but it did not stop there. Not only have they made tremendous strides over the last years, but in their in-season progression was also outstanding. They capitalized on every opportunity they received and did not allow setbacks to hinder their growth. They simply went to work and tried to get better. So congratulations to Lucas and Matt. The Rocket Award. The Rocket Award goes to the person on the team that we think best personifies what we hold as top priority, trying to be the best men that he can be, being passionate about our faith and beliefs, and giving relentless effort in all that we do. I believe that person that exemplifies this criteria this year is Clay Badalak. Selfless person, just really proud of the way he carries himself and the young man he's become. Congrats to Clay. It's been a while since we've issued the next award, but we thought it was appropriate to do so this year. The 12th Man Award typically has gone to someone that supported our program in such a way that it was different from your traditional service. This year, it was appropriate to bring the award back because we have someone that we think fits it perfectly. Before we name the recipient, I would like to give a little background on the 12th man and where it originated. So in January of 1922, right, Texas A&M took the field against mighty Center College. Yes, Center College down in there, a couple hours down there in Danville, Kentucky, right? D3 school now. Used to be a powerhouse. Center was the #1 ranked team in the country at the time, and they were playing in the Dixie Classic, which is known as the Cotton Bowl now. As the game wore on, the strength and power of Center was taking its toll on the Aggies, and they were running short of players. Desperate for bodies, the Texas A&M coach recalled that a former player by the name of E. King Gill had been sent to the press box before the game to help reporters identify players. Coach sent word to the press box that Gill was needed. Gill responded by descending from the grandstand and reporting to the sideline, suiting up just in case he was needed. Gill never actually took the field that day. The Aggies pulled off a stunning 22-14 upset. But the great symbolism of Gill coming out of the stands to stand along with his Aggies struck a chord with Texas A&M faithful. Just like that, the 12th man legend was born. I wish I could say that I went in and ran for the winning touchdown, but I did not, Gill said afterwards. I simply stood by in case my team needed me. Our recipient this year has been standing by for a couple of years now. He's helped us more than he probably knows. At this time, it's my pleasure to present Nick Carter as the 2020. Nick did a lot for us this year. He was filming, he was working drills, he was doing whatever he needed. He was always around. So thank you, Nick, for everything you've done for us. At this time, we'll have captain's reflections, and I'll welcome the captains to come on up, or I can hand you the mic, and you can the captains that are speaking. You can come on up, or if you want, I can hand you the mic down there. It's entirely up to you. Our captains this year were Clay Badalak, Jack Camp, Boyd Bramble, Caden Conrad, and Austin Ramey. They did a tremendous job of leading this team. I have asked them to give their reflection. I believe Austin and Clay will be speaking on behalf of the team here. So give those guys a second to mosey on up.
I'm Austin Ramey. I want to start off, like always, by thanking the coaches, parents, players, trainers, athletic department, and all others who contributed to the McNick football program. I have an unsurpassed amount of gratitude to the coaches and the game of football for the morals and values that they have taught me. Reflecting on the past 4 years as a senior, it seemed like something that would have never came. It's crazy to think back on those first lifting and conditioning sessions as a freshman, where it was only new faces, to the fantastic relationships I have with each and every one of you now. Our team motto this year was built on brotherhood. We chose this motto because we know that football is way more than just a game. What makes football so great to most is not the games you win or the stats you have or what achievements you earn, because in the long run, none of that is what truly matters. The relationships you build while playing are what makes your own experience unique to you. In 20 years, when we cross paths again, we will not talk about things that happen on the field, but instead about slides in the locker room, how bad 21-10s was, chanting boom shaka boom, going bananas, or even going to Skyline after the games. You can only play football for so long, but I want to cherish my relationships with all of you for the rest of my life. Football has forever changed the way that I will go about life. It has taught me to have a great work ethic, relentless effort in everything I do, and how to be a leader and push others to be their best. I'm confident that because of football, I'm a better man, son, and brother, and will be an even better husband and father in the future. An important lesson can be learned from E plus R equals O. E plus R equals O means event plus reaction equals outcome. You cannot expect to get your desired outcome if you do not put in the required response. Anyone can aspire to achieve their dreams, but it is only the ones who, when given an event, respond with the correct reaction that get what they want out of life. Lastly, I want to speak to the juniors, now seniors, in regards to football. It is now your time to build your own legacy and set your own standard. You are now responsible for how the 2021 football team will be remembered. I implore everyone in the program to cherish every conditioning, every lift, every practice, every film session, every moment. Because one day, you won't be able to go to any more of those things. Always remember that tomorrow is never promised in football and in life. Live life to the fullest at all times. I want to finish with a few words to the seniors. It was an honor and a privilege to be able to play with you guys. I cannot think of a better group to have spent the past 4 years with, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Even though change can be scary, it is inevitable and essential in order for us to grow. I will always miss suiting up and playing on Friday night under the lights with you guys. Because on that field, nothing else matters besides the dudes that run your left and right. I'm not going to cry because it's over, but smile because it happened. 71 out.
Hello everyone, Clay Battleback. I'm glad to have this opportunity to thank the coaching staff for everything that they've done for us this past 4 years. At the same time, I want to let everyone know how much the coaches care about the players on and off the field. Our first game was scheduled to be on August 28th, but preparations for the games and practices started way before then. The coaches spent hours with us in the weight room before we could even start to think about getting on the field. Optional conditioning and training started in June because we had to social distance. The whole team could not work out at the same time. That meant that the coaches were on the field from 7:30 in the morning until early afternoon. They sacrificed their time for the team. We were extremely blessed and fortunate to even have this football season. And a lot of that is attributed to the coaches making extra practice plans to accommodate COVID-19 restrictions. In the month of August alone, Coach O had to find a new home opener 3 times just for varsity. And he also had to make quick decisions for JV and freshmen to get them as many games as possible. Even off the field, we couldn't have any preseason in-person meetings. The coaches installed a brand new offense over Zoom. I would never thought that was possible, but we did it. Being able to do that, though, is a huge credit to our players and coaches. I know my teammates and I had to study plays more than ever because we couldn't just go to the field and run them. Even though there were not a lot of change in personal and player personnel, there were additions in the coaching staff. Coach Nowman, Coach Mills, Coach Cole, and McNick football alum, Coach Fair, fit right into the family. Every coach on the team had a group of players that he mentored individually. Many players valued this time with their coach because they didn't have to just talk about football. Our coaches were there to help us players become better men on and off the field. I think I can speak for the whole Nowman unit group when I say we enjoyed those talks. Even if we were still talking, the whole parking lot was empty, except for us, outside the aux. It was dark, and dinner was probably going to be cold when we got home, but it didn't matter, it was worth it. At the end of our season, Coach O tweeted out, "Thank you for all the seniors for everything you've done for this program. Took some shots early in your career, dealt with the adversity of the pandemic, and ended getting the program back to where it needs to be. We really appreciate the kind words, but we want you to know that the coaches were just as big a factor in success that we had this season as the players were." To my teammates, these past 4 years have been the best 4 years of my life. I've made some of the best memories, and I'm glad to call you guys my lifelong friends. Thank you for making the senior season one to remember forever. And to the parents, thank you guys for being our biggest fans. Whether it's the Bramptons being literally everybody's biggest cheerleaders, the Bienemans hosting all the great parties, or Mrs. Tobin and Mrs. Bieneman organizing anything and everything that had to do with football. The love and connection of the McNick football families is really second to none. Many of us never put the pads on again, but the experience of playing McNick football will stay with us for the rest of our lives. Thank you.
All right. A few other things here, a couple things before we get going, before I close things out here. We have a slideshow. I want to thank Christina Walter for putting that together. We'll put that up. I did have some technical difficulty when I tried the volume earlier in the the day here, so hopefully we can get that fixed. But if you, it'll take a few minutes to get everything set up, so you stand stretch. If you need to leave, that's fine as well. I'm sure we'll make this available to everybody, but just wanted to make sure that I got that out there and make sure that I thank Christina for doing that. And secondly here, I know I've thanked them already, but I'd like to call attention to Karen and Sharon again. The group wanted to be sure that you guys knew that you were appreciated for all the hard work and countless hours you guys put in to make this special place that it is. So on behalf of the coaches, the players, the parents, and anyone else that has benefited from your generosity, here's just a small token of our appreciation. So Karen and Sharon, please come on out. Got a breaking news on my phone that Karen and Sharon have re-upped it, and they re-signed a multi-year extension. I hope they'll be around for a while. Word on the street, anyway. We'll see. You guys are awesome. Thank you for everything. All right, so in closing, again, just thanks to everyone that supported this program in any way, shape, or form. Just thanks for all that you do. And I say that, and sometimes it's, it can feel hollow, and that's he has to thank us. And I really mean it. I feel bad for the freshman families. I feel bad for the families that are new to the program. I don't think you got to see the full effect. We did really good, right? We did really good for where we were at, but there's a lot more to this program. So please stick around, and I hope your experience was still good and exceptional, and make sure that you come back and once we get rid of these bad boys here and get to a better place. I had my yearly review with the athletic department last week, so had some time spent in reflection, not only about this year, but about the past 10 years, right? I can't believe that, I've been head coach here for 10, been here for 12, right? One of the questions that was asked to me, are you where you thought you would be at this point in your career? And the honest answer is no. I think that I fell short. I think that I fell short. I don't think that we are where I thought we would be, if I'm being honest with you. So much so that, before this year started, I decided that if things weren't going to get turned around, and it was probably time for somebody else to take another crack at it. Right, because I would have owed that to the kids. So when I say thank you, right, I mean it. And thank you to the players and the coaches and the parents. I mean it with all sincerity, because I do not wish to be anywhere else. I'm grateful for this opportunity, and we're going to fight like crazy. Right, we're going to fight like crazy to continue to push this program in this school to be better each and every day. So in 10 years from now, when I'm asked, are you where you thought you would be at this point in your career, my answer still will be no. I think it's safe to say that we have surpassed all expectations. So a lot of work between now and then. Again, you guys mean the world to me. I know that it's maybe I'm not the, I don't know, maybe other guys would do it differently, but I just hope that you guys know that it's, I appreciate you. I appreciate you players. I appreciate what you do. We're gonna move this thing forward, and when we look back, it's going to be because not only you seniors, but everybody this year, right? This is going to be the stage is set, we're not going to turn down anymore. So thank you. If you guys ever need my help, you're just a phone call away, and I'll be there. I'll do everything I can to help you out. So thanks so much. God bless. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for enduring the sauna that is McNick this evening. And I look forward to 2021, and can't wait to get started. Thank you so much.